Hey, what is up, guys? So, today I'm playing Stanley Parable, and I just want to see how ironic it is. I got an achievement just for turning on the achievements. So already I feel like this is going to be a pretty fun game. I cannot use the controller, though. I wonder if this is actually a loading screen or not. My camera is underneath this. Gosh dang it. Move up. There we go. So now we can stop being like an idiot.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-winning, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
I kind of feel like this is a job for, like, YouTubers.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
I don't want to step out of my office. Nope, just gonna go back to work. Okay, fine. Screw you. Nope. Nope.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Where's this meeting room? Oh, hey, door. Nope. Nope. Okay, I could do that. No. Nope. 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 Okay, I'm just gonna assume most of these doors are locked.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room.
This game is
Stanley
awesome.
simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Nope. Okay.
Yes, really, really worth it. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
The temptation. Okay, yeah.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Can I go back? No. Okay. Do not like you. is this? Need a key card, I guess. Do not jump from the cargo lift while it's in motion.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing in your trust, but in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Oh, I love this game.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, boy.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I guess I'll follow the rules this time.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Let a boss beside you take it out passively aggressive on the coworkers, resent coworkers for not supporting you more. Use sliding to assure employees that everything's okay. Blue graphics center. Which one is you? Number of slides. Charred slides. Okay, yeah. Broom closet. Oh, hey, I can go in here.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
No, I didn't. Is that radioactive or something? Ooh, can I get out this, maybe?
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow. Just an empty broom closet.
It is not
No
empty.
reason to
There's...
still be here.
I still want to be in here. There has to be something. Clicking.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
What's FA? I'm kind of stupid for asking that. Can I jump? No, I cannot jump.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
No! I'm confused too.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find it. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever.
I don't know. I
never
think
would
it's.
have thought to mention it.
I think it's pretty significant. I mean, think of all this bonding time we're having,
Maybe
narrator.
to you, this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friend, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drugs. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
That's not true. What a horrible thing to say about me.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
No,
office.
screw you. You call me fat and ugly. Fire hose. No. Got a box. Light. No. Okay.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations.
Yeah,
For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating?
Will you let me
No,
narrow?
Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy.
Okay, I can use my controller.
And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons.
Stop
I may
boring.
as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up.
This
How
is
was
awesome.
he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
I'm not gonna have much commentary
Now the voice
for
was
this.
describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
No, don't.
My life is normal.
No, it isn't.
I am normal.
No, I'm not.
Everything will be fine.
You're a liar.
I am okay.
No, you're not. God damn it.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I?
No!
Everything went black.
What? Oh. I'm kind of expecting a horror
This is
game
the
now.
story of a woman named Mariella.
What?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Running is logical, but... Was that an ending?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, so apparently that's ending 1. I might just do clips of the different endings. There's 2 of them in here, so... There's ending 1. I got this game for I don't remember how much I got it for. All these rooms are still locked, annoyingly. Locked. 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 Locked.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do the boring ones first. I'm just gonna follow the rules. No.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Okay.
Feeling a wave
Can I
of
push this over?
disbelief,
No.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Can I screw up this meeting anyhow? Can't go back that way. Okay. Yeah, I
Coming
should
to
go
a
up.
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Nobody's here. Per se. It's locked. That door's open, so I don't want to go that way. I want to go in there. Gosh.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Yeah, could have.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
What? What's over here? Nothing? Oh, there is something. Nope, nothing. What's that button from? Is that from, like, portals? This game confuses me. I just...
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It
what
was
was
a
not gone?
stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
I shall answer this question.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Oh. So we have to do this twice. Oh, which one do I go to? I'm gonna go this way.
lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to
It's
himself.
killing the
Did he have
environment with the
strength
electricity.
to find out?
It's destroying the environment with its electricity costs. The horrors. There were lights. Oh, well, let's see.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
I just want to point out, I really want to add commentary to this, but the narration is being a dick and just not letting me do that, so...
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
No? There's a button, let me push it. I don't know what all these little buttons do. Push, push. Why do these buttons have to do something? Wait. This is confusing me. What's the point of this? It's probably not much of a point. It's power button. Let me push power. 1, 2... Nothing? Okay. There has to be something with this room. No. There's something up there. Let's see, 1, 2... Where's 3? There you go. 3. 4 is up there. Four. And now let's go press 5 and see what happens. Maybe I can push the red button then. And 5. Now let's press the big red button, see what happens. Nope, nothing, still can't press it. Okay, let's time to go down there and see what happens. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, I'm just gonna go. I don't know what to do.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Okay.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off,
No?
and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stan? It's your time to shine. You are the star.
Oh, no.
It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going. What all this means, I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other
There's a
times,
button.
I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make
So
sense
intense.
of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better.
Let's try
My
3.
goodness, only 34 seconds left.
Shut up.
But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock.
Thank you.
These are
5.
precious additional seconds.
I want to know what I need to do.
Oh,
Press
dear me,
green.
what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing
Yeah,
now?
pretty
Or
much.
did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge, it's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to strike.
Come on!
30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke.
Crap, it's that one password!
You're laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the
No!
moment you fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
Such bullcrap! That was intense. Why can't there be more of that? Why? Gosh, I might have to look at a walkthrough to see what to do for that. That's freaking awesome.